Hello, everybody. I'm happy to see all of you again in another episode of Talking Dogs to Ante. I want to thank you for letting me come inside of your homes or offices or wherever you are now to watch these live streams that we have done already three this week. Altogether, this is the fifth episode, but it is the third one that we are doing on this new platform of the Best in Show magazine. And for the moment, that seems to work very well. So I'm very happy and grateful to all the people who are helping me for this. I'm extremely proud to say that yesterday's interview with Mika and Edwin had over 15,000 views. We had like more than 100 shares and more than 300 comments, which I think is just amazing because we were talking about something which bothers a lot of dog people today. And I'm very happy that many people have decided to see this interview. During our today's interview, we are going to do it a little bit different than yesterday, which means that you don't need to wait till the end of the interview. If you have any kind of questions for Jorge during the interview, you can put them in the comments of the chat. And also, what? I start from the beginning, or what? Okay. Sorry. I have also Beltran in my earphone, so sometimes I cannot. When Beltran says to me in the earphone, "Fuck," I always immediately think there is some kind of problem. Anyhow, I suppose that you have heard the what I have said till now. I have no idea if you did or not. So anyhow, I wanted to say that during the interview you can say hello to us, or you can share some interesting story if you have something that you want to share with our guest. And you can also ask questions. Valentina is sitting here next to me, and she is going to take care of all the comments in case that I will miss them, because I want completely to concentrate to my guest. So my guest today is, as I said already, one of the nicest guys of the dog world, Jorge Nallem from Uruguay. He's together with his partner Adrian Landarte, owner of the famous El Retorno Kennels. He's an All Breeds judge, and he's the president of the FCI Standards Committee. First of all, thank you, Jorge, for taking your time from work, because I know in Uruguay this is still a working time. And I really promise you that after this interview, you will be famous, because you were saying to me you are not famous. So I'm going to fix that for you. How are you, Jorge?
Hello, Ante. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
You are not afraid of me. You are not afraid of me.
I am.
You are? Okay, you don't need to be afraid. I mean, you know that I'm... look, Petro Muntan is watching you, and Andrew Brace, everybody is watching us. So we are going to have a nice Corona party online. Listen, this is my first interview with somebody who is not living in Europe. So just if you can tell me shortly, what is the situation in Uruguay, and maybe generally speaking in Latin America, with this coronavirus? Is the life going on normally? Do you have shows or you don't have shows? How are the things going?
It's very different from country to country, the situation. Talking about dog world is the same. Everything was canceled, and only activities like you're having now are going in every country mostly.
So in Uruguay at the moment you don't have shows. Do you know at what time you're going to continue with them or not?
We still don't know. We think maybe June, July, but always waiting to see what happens.
And do you have a big number of infected people or a big number of deaths or not?
No, we have like 17, 19 dead people.
Okay.
And in the moment, active people with the virus, 180 more or less.
Okay, so this is almost nothing compared to the numbers that we have in Europe.
Big number of population, so
yes,
it's difficult to compare, but we are in very good situation.
Yes, okay, that's good news.
in Latin America are not the same. Brazil is having a big problem, for example.
Yes. Okay, so you are lucky because Croatia is the same. We had finally now today just one infected person, so I think we are going really great. Okay, I want to go for the start. I want to go a little bit to the past. Tell me, the question is, Jorge and purebred dogs. How did that story happen?
Okay, my first purebred dog was when I was 18, an English Cocker Spaniel.
Are you going to tell me which year it was when you were 18, or we are going to keep it as a secret?
I was born in 1958.
Okay. You didn't have to answer, but okay. It was a joke.
And
yes, tell me.
This dog was not living with me. It was a gift for my birthday from that moment, my girlfriend and some other friends. And she was living in my girlfriend's home because I couldn't have dogs in where I was living with my parents. Then I got married and we got a dog Argentino bitch.
Yes.
And then I started with wire fox terriers. Then I got divorced. My first wire fox terrier stayed with my daughters and the mother. And I got another fox terrier and a dachshund at the same time.
Okay.
So I have been in dachshunds since that time. To now, okay. I stopped with fox terriers.
And what I wanted to ask you at that time, I mean, while you were married and so on and so on, you just had dogs, or you were breeding, or you were going to the shows, or you just had dogs at home?
I almost at the end, I started showing the wire fox terrier.
Okay, but you were not breeding at that time.
I had 1 liter only of this wire fox terrier.
Okay, and then at some point you started to be partner with Adrian, to whom I say hello in Punta del Este if he's watching. Another person of the dog world that I absolutely adore. And you created this El Retorno kennels, which became famous all around the world. For the beginning, tell me, I mean, El Retorno, what does it mean? I mean, why this name?
Then continue with the story. I met Adrian, and yes. He already had dogs. He had Afghans and Irish setters. And when we got together, we had 2 different kennels. His kennel with these breeds and my kennel with my breeds.
2 different names or?
2 different names.
Okay.
My kennel name was Coming Back. That is almost the same as El Retorno.
Yes.
But we started breeding together Cimarrón Uruguayo. So, and Schnauzer. So we wanted to put a name in Spanish, and we decided we like it El Retorno. And also this was the name of a place in the country where my father and my family had cattle and all that. So that's kind of.
So it had sense. Okay, you were mentioning some breeds from your beginning, Dachshund, Schnauzers, and so on, and then you were mentioning some breeds that Adrian had when you met him. When you started to breed together, you said you had Cimarrón Uruguayos. That was what you started to breed together, but you had still other breeds.
Yes, we kept the other breeds, and then we decided to breed together with one kennel name, all the breeds.
Okay, and out of these breeds that you had in the beginning compared to the breeds that you have now, what did you lose and what did you add?
We had also whippets that still have.
Okay.
We have greyhounds that we don't have anymore. And we stopped with fox terriers and schnauzers.
Okay. So what are the breeds that you have now?
Dachshunds, standard and mini short hair and whippet. And then we have 3 Kangals that we brought from Turkey for watching more, and the old guys from Fox Terrier that are 15, 16 years old, the ones that are still living.
Yes. So you don't have any more Cimarrons?
Only an old beach that we are not breeding Cimarrons.
Okay. I don't know why Andrew Brace is sending me a private message saying remind him that they bred some fabulous beagles.
Yes, we bred fabulous beagles, and thanks to Andrew that he made the contact to get a beautiful beagle from Mario's paving.
Yes. Okay. My first, let's say, serious question, even if all these questions are serious, you know me. This huge experience that you had during the years with breeding different breeds from different groups with different types of coat and everything, how much did this experience help you once when you have become all breeds judge? Because I mean, most of the people at some, they have one breed or they have 2 breeds and they breed these breeds from the beginning till the end, but you were changing it a little bit and you were going into different kinds of different breeds. I mean, did this huge experience of breeding and even not breeding, but having these dogs at home help you when you started judging?
I think it helps a lot. You can learn and you can have a lot of experience judging a lot of breeds, but when you breed them, the interest is in some other ways also. So it makes a plus when you start judging.
And also because I think it gives you this opportunity, the first-hand opportunity to learn that 2 different breeds you need actually to approach in a different way. You can't approach all the breeds in the same way.
You have to learn to approach to all the breeds, of course, you breed or not, but it makes you feel it in some other way and to know it and to know the problem. So evaluating the dogs, you do it with another head. It's different.
Yes. Andrew was sending me last night very late because, his brain starts to work and then he starts to think of different things. And he sent me an interesting story about you and Adrian going with him to visit the famous Saredon kennel in the UK. And he told me you were checking all kinds of dogs that she had there. And then at some point you saw this completely ungroomed, untrimmed fox terrier, which was jumping somewhere in the kennel in the fence. And you said, okay, I want to see this dog. And I mean, you took this dog, you made him a famous dog for your kennel. I wanted to ask you, when you look the dogs, when you judge them, and when you look the dogs that you want to use for breeding, do you look them in the same way or you look them in a different way?
In a different way, completely different way.
Okay, can you explain it a little bit?
Because when you're breeding, you know what you need for your breeding and you know what is important for you in that breed. And it's always a matter of choosing, and it's a matter of that what you have available and near, because you can always go to the dog that you want
Exactly.
to make a beach. So you have to choose for what you have available and what you like, but more than that, what you need for your breed.
Yes. And when you judge?
And when you judge, this also, I think it's important when you have a general idea and when you're judging quite a lot outside and you know more or less the situation of the breed in the world, what is needed. So you gave value in general for all breeds. For me, are things that are important, but in particular for many breeds, you have it clear what you want or what you think it's needed to keep or to get back or whatever.
Exactly. Okay. I want to ask you one question, which is always, I mean, as many, you talk to many people, of course, all of us, we talk to different dog people all the time. And there are always different views on this subject. I'm not going to say what is my view on this, but I want to hear yours. Do you think that people who are highly positioned in the kennel clubs, who are famous judges, judging all around the world and so on, that in the moment when they become, let's say, important dog people, do you think that they should stop breeding and showing dogs, or they should continue?
For me, as long as you can and you have the time and you are not leaving your dogs alone because you're always out, it will be very important to continue. It's always a matter of having, even though you were breeder for a long time, and of course you learned a lot of things and you have the living what you feel when you're breeding. If you continue to do it, you feel it in another way. And you remember very well what the breeders go through, all the things they have to do to have a dog to show and to get to the show and all these things. It's more.
So let's say in another way, let's say when you judge dogs in a way, you learn to appreciate a little bit more the hard work of the breeders and exhibitors, because you know yourself what does it mean to breed a good dog, to have a good mating, to take care of the puppies, to look them grow, to be disappointed, to be to be excited about a new dog growing. Gives you completely another perspective of the dog world, even as a judge.
Completely. Another perspective and another experience that makes you live it in other ways.
Yes. Okay. I want to go back just a little bit to your dogs and to your kennel, because you sent me, not for this interview, but before, because of the split shows, you sent me your CV, and then in this CV I could see that your dogs have won incredible numbers of incredible wins, including USA national specialties and world shows and Hallem shows and so on and so on. I want you, and I know that is not an easy question, can you tell me, let's say, during all your career of you and Adrian being breeders, what would be the best result you have ever had? And then another question, if you would need to point out one dog that you have bred that you will remember for the rest of your life, which dog that would be?
One of the wins that I remember better, because was really unexpected, was the testing show at Montgomery County of the specialty of wire fox terriers. Not because we doubt about the dog, but in the States it's completely different, and it's a very strong breed with a lot of quality and many dogs, and also the handling and the presentation is different. And so we were not even there with Adrian. We were here, and a handler from Brazil took the dog, and we wanted only to show him, and to win the testing show was really touching.
Do you remember maybe which year it was?
It was 2002.
Okay, 18 years ago.
And this was really a big surprise and really unexpected. Maybe it was unfair of us to think was almost impossible, and then we saw that was possible.
Yeah, that's great.
And if you ask me only one dog,
yes,
to choose in all, I think The smooth fox terrier Boris del Retorno was, for me, the
your all-time favorite.
yes.
Okay. There, because we are having viewers from all around the world, and for many viewers in Europe, many of them have never been in Uruguay. Many of them have never been in Latin America. I want to ask you just one question, which I think it's going to be interesting for the people. I mean, you have been, both you and Adrian, very much involved with the Uruguay Kennel Club for many years. I want to ask just a question, a quick question about the shows in Uruguay. How many shows per year you have? Let's say, what are the usual entry numbers, and maybe what is the most numerous breeds that you have at your shows? Just a little information for the people who have never been there.
Our shows are small. We are only 3.5 million people in the country. And we have more or less 10 dates a year with double shows. So 20 shows, all breeds a year. Almost
and
every month.
What is the usual entry for the all breed show?
The usual entry for the normal shows is 150 to 200, and bigger shows like our anniversary show that is usually in June, July is 400 maybe.
Okay.
And in Punta del Este we have also a bigger show in February. That is our summer. That is also bigger. And then when we have a Hallem or Americas and Caribe section show, we have got up to 1,200, not more.
Okay. Okay. And what is generally talking? I'm talking about the normal shows in Uruguay. What is the, let's say, most numerous breed there? What is the the breed with the biggest number of entries usually?
It changed a lot, like everywhere in time, because of fashion, because of, I don't know why, because it shouldn't be like this, but it is. Dobermans is always strong.
Okay.
Cimarron, it's very popular here. It used to be beagles. It used to be collies, that not now. It used to be English cockers. Now also French bulldogs are very popular. So it changed a lot from time to time. But
yes,
boxers, Dobermans, English cockers are. I think they are the most that had stayed.
Numbers, yes, yeah. You have a nice comment in the chat from our friend, our mutual friend from Georgia, George Shogol. He says, visiting Uruguay and judging for Jorge and Adrian was one of the best experiences in my life. Unforgettable.
A big hug to George.
Yes. Okay, listen, before we go to this little bit tricky questions, I call them like this, because now we have gone a little bit about these things that are, let's say, easy to answer. I'm going to ask you a few questions which are very short. They need usually only one sentence or one thing, but they are very difficult. So think well what you are going to answer. Okay, number one, the best dog you ever judged.
That is really difficult.
You see, I want your brain working. If you cannot decide one, you can say two or three. Let's say if you have doubts between two or three dogs.
Dogs that impressed me a lot was a Rottweiler that was imported from Germany that was living in Brazil many years ago. I loved and think like a top quality dog, the mini Dachshund short hair that I give the breed in Holland in the World Dog Show
In Amsterdam?
in Amsterdam. That is a dog that I think it's Russian living in Netherlands.
Okay.
What else?
And one more you can say.
One more.
I mean, if you think about for how long you are a judge?
From my first breed since 87.
87. So let's say I'm horrible in mathematics, but let's say this is 40 something years. I mean, one dog that you will never ever forget. Like when you think, when I saw this dog, it was like, wow. Does one more dog come to your mind?
American Akita in Canada.
Okay. Wonderful. You see, I always have difficult questions. Another difficult questions. The best show you have ever judged, and you don't need to say we are putting Split out of the competition because I'm here. So not Split, but out of Split, the best show you have ever judged.
Finland. Yes.
Which show?
I don't remember the year. I think it was a European Championship. It's where I met the Dalmatian that afterwards you managed to work with.
Yes. That has been many years ago.
I give him the breed, and then
yes.
He won the group and 30 show, I think.
Yes. That has been many years ago.
For me, a top show.
Yes. Okay. Another difficult question. If you would need to think about all these years that you are in a dog world, about one breeder that you think that has managed all the time to produce top dogs from the start that you started till today, which one would be, let's say, of course you cannot say one, but one that comes now to your mind, let's say for you, the best breeder in the world?
One of them, it's unfair maybe, but one of them, it's Alberto Velasco.
Yes, I can agree. I can agree about that with you. I think Alberto has managed, and not only in these breeds that he has been famous for, like fox terriers and miniature schnauzers and lakelands. I think Alberto had such an amazing brain for breeding dogs, whatever he touched.
He has the ability to, one after other, make beautiful dogs from him in different breeds.
I'm very happy that this was your answer. Okay, 3 more questions like this. When you think about one dog person, and let's take Alberto out of this story because we have mentioned him in this. One dog person which is not anymore with us, and a person that you really miss a lot, who would it be?
A person who I really miss a lot and wish was not gone was Carlos Fernandez.
Yes, I was sure that will be your answer. Yes, I think Carlos was such an amazing person who has made so much influence on so many people around the world. Yes. Okay, and then 2 more questions. If you would need to say one judge that is still actively judging, which you incredibly admire, which one would that be?
It sounds stupid and ridiculous, but Adrian, yes. Without doubt.
Okay. Yeah, I can agree also.
It's my partner. You know that if it was not like this, I wouldn't say it, because I think he's honest. He has the knowledge. He has the quality as a judge. That's why I really admire him.
Yes, and not only this. I think because you the same like me. We have met so many dog people. Sometimes you have these people who have incredible knowledge about the dogs and they are good judges, but they have this difficult approach. I mean, Adrian, not only that he has knowledge and that he's always that you can enjoy watching him judging, but he has this personality which always everybody feels welcome, and I think this is so important for a judge. Last question, and this will be, I promise you, the easiest one of all this that I have asked you now. Now you are a young boy. but one day when you will be very old, which breed will always sit next to you?
A Dachshund.
A Dachshund. Yeah, you see, this is why we are friends. We would answer many questions very similarly.
With no doubt.
Excellent. Oh, yes, yes. Anyhow, we have finished these, let's say, hard questions for you, and now we are going to even harder questions. So, okay. I need your personal opinion about different subjects of the dog world, which are bothering me or which are bothering other dog people. They are a little bit tricky, but I want you to answer personally. What do you think? Okay, my first question. Let me go back to it because I have lost it a little bit. My first question is about professional handlers. Lately, when you talk to people, especially in Europe, and I mean, we need to be quite fair and say that if there would be some strict rules and regulations for professional handling in Europe, we would not have them as many as we have them now. But a lot of people say that professional handlers are favorized by the judges and normal people are not able to win anything because professional handlers come and they have influence and they play politics with the judges. And I mean, generally speaking, if I must be honest, lately, when you read some of the forums, whatever problem in the world it is, I'm curious. I'm surprised that for the moment they are not blaming professional handlers for coronavirus. Always the answer for everything that goes wrong in the dog world are professional handlers. Are professional handlers good or bad for the sport?
For me, like everything in the world has two parts. For judges, for shows, they are perfect. For me, it's much easier go to judge a dog that is managed by a professional handler or a very talented shower that is a owner than when you go to judge maybe a very nice dog that is not well managed, so it's much more difficult. I don't know why people think there are politics with handlers because I don't know what handlers can give in return to judges. It's something that I don't understand. I never had, for example, no problem not giving a lot of top handlers and never had any problem. I don't know why is this idea of politics with handlers. I think it's much more politics with more influent people than handlers.
Yes.
And the part that maybe is more difficult with professional handlers is the way they manage with the clubs, because if you are working with 20, 30 dogs in a small club and you have a problem, maybe these dogs that are not yours are from other people's, maybe are not going or some things like this. But usually this is not normal because also you have to work and you realize that every show is important, and maybe not this time, but next time it's very interesting for you to go because you're interested in the judgment of this judge. So really, I think there is no bad thing, at least in these things. Only when some handlers, professional, there are all kind of professional handlers.
Absolutely, the same like judges and everything.
Have the power, so they want to push the club to make them feel better, giving them some special attention. This is the bad thing, I think, that the professional handler can bring. In the other hand, I always work with professional handler. Adrian and me never show our dogs. Well, we haven't shown in Uruguay for almost 20 years because we are involved, or Adrian or me in the kennel club. So, but outside we always manage with handlers and never had a problem.
Okay, appreciate your opinion. Tell me this. You are at the moment the president of the FCI's standards committee. What is this? What are the things that this committee is doing? What is your work actually of the committee?
Our work in the committee is to maintain the standards of the FCI breeds that are our breeds, updated. And this is the job we do with the country of origin of each standard. For example, Uruguay want to change the standard of the Cimarron Uruguayo. So they send the change they want to do to the standard scientific commission. We have our meeting, we think about it, we see if there is any problem or anything that is not good in these changes they want to do. We get back to the country because it always depends on the country of origin. And if we agree with them, then it goes to general committee. That is finally who decides. We are a working commission, not political.
Okay, and you are also involved in the recognition of the new breeds.
We are also involved in the recognition of new breeds, but this is that we have to follow the procedures that are marked by FCI, that are voted by all the members in General Assembly. So when we receive when they ask for a new breed, we have to study it, we have to see the standard, how it's done, we have to see that it's coherent with what you see in the breed, so we have to see pictures, videos. Then scientific commission asks for a lot more things, like 8 families with no close connection, bloodlines, and certificates that they are free of a lot of, or they are free or not, that certification about the health situation of the breed and all this. And then after all this is done, one member of each commission should see the breed inside in the country. We do a report, and all this also goes to general committee. After it's accepted, you will have a period of 10 years to get full recognition that this is done by General Assembly.
Yes. Tell me your personal opinion. Do we need more breeds?
It's not that you need. It's a reality. We can't deny breeds that have been living for hundreds of years that were not recognized, for example, to come into our registrations and to our list of breeds, only because we don't need other breeds. They exist, so you have to do. And if we don't want more breeds, we should change a lot of things. If you're asking that to get a new breed, you need to do this, and this, and you come tomorrow from Croatia and tell me, I have this. Why will I say no? It's impossible.
Yes. There are criteria that need to be met, and if the country can,
it's good
meet its criteria, of course.
Realize that some are not new breeds, if not, they are varieties of some other breed, which is good for the other breed to have a bigger gene pool. Yes. If everybody is good with the rules, why not?
Okay. Another thing that I'm curious, because you will for sure have this information, or you will know more about it than what I know. At the moment, when we look the list of the FCI breeds which are recognized at the moment, do you think that there is a number of the breeds which are, let's say, very close to extinction, that in some time are just not going to exist anymore?
Yes, I can tell you now that we have had already many, not many times, but sometimes breeds that were taken out of the nomenclature of the FCI because they were not registrations for many, many years.
Yes. And you think, let's say, at this point, what would be the percentage? I mean, are there 1, 2, or there are 10, 20 breeds that you think are facing really difficulties at the moment?
I really don't know every breed
Okay.
Because people think if you are in the standard commission, you should are not familiar with the situation of every breed in the world. But
Yes.
there are many breeds that maybe are hunting breeds or that are not great numbers.
Yes.
I don't. There are many that will come to this situation, but there are some, yes.
Okay. Okay. There is another question that I want to ask you, which is something that we dog people talk about quite often about. You live in Latin America, and we all know that Latin America and let's say Asia and some other countries on other continents have really a huge influence of American dogs. Now, there are some breeds, and we know it. I mean, that is just a fact, that look completely different in Europe, and they look completely different in the USA. These breeds are being, let's say, exported to Latin America or to Asia or whatever, and you need to judge these breeds how you have them. My first question is, how difficult for you is in some of the breeds to judge them, for example, in Latin America or in Asia according to the FCI breed standard. Let's mention, for example, I don't know, English Springer Spaniels, which look completely different in Europe than in the USA. That would be my first question. And my second question would be, do you think that there are some breeds that should be divided into two different breeds? Because at the moment they are called the same name, but actually on different continents they look completely different. And I mean, I don't know how many situations like that were, but I remember, let's say, the Akita Inus, they have been divided into two breeds, and then we got Japanese Akitas and this great Japanese dog, which has later been renamed to American Akita. Do you think this could be the option for some of the breeds?
First question, one at a time.
Yes.
I think
I know you have a good memory, so this is why I can ask you two at the same time.
I think when this happened, that of course it happens, and we all know that happens, that you have different types in some breeds. First of all, you have to be conscious that it exists. So you can't deny it. You have to judge with one standard, that is the FCI standard. But if I go to Asia or to some countries of South America to judge a golden retriever, and it's all American type, I think I should choose the best that is, in my opinion, which adapts better to the standard. Of course, the type will be different, but I think it's no good for the dog world in that country that invite me to go and say, none of this is good, so get rid of them. I think you have to be smart enough to use what is better in every side. I think we should be more clever and think in more open way. There is a good thing in each side, so let's take advantage of this and let's choose and use it. I think in many breeds, I don't know, now or a few years ago or a little longer, people, clever breeders were using American, and European bloodlines to get the best of each, and they have done very well. I'm talking about Nordic countries, and now, for example, Russia, in many breeds also.
Yeah.
So I think you have to manage what is real. You can't think in a closed mind and go destroying things. In the other hand, I think it's all a matter of education. If we in South America or in Asia had this big influence of American dogs, I think it was not the fault of these countries. It was maybe that they didn't have the open doors as they have now in FCI. I think this is coming, and it's a matter of working and educating the people. And I think it's already changing a lot in many breeds. And also, I think it's a responsibility of the organizers, for example, to invite more European judges and make like a balance. Not there are many countries who only took American or Canadian judges, and this maybe influence a lot in the type of the breed.
Yes.
And the other question that you asked me, no, I think it's not good to divide them. I think you can go forever. It happened, for example, with the English Cocker, that became so different that they had to do a new breed that was American Cocker. And then the English Cocker was also divided in American English Cocker and English type English Cocker. So you can go in this forever. So I think it's not good.
Okay, but you think, for example, let's go back to the Japanese Akitas. You think then it was a smart idea to change and to make two breeds, Japanese Akita and American Akitas, or you think they should have stayed as one breed?
It's done. You can't go back.
Yeah.
But many times you find something in between that you don't know really what it is.
Yes.
So I don't think it's good to continue doing with many breeds, because otherwise many times you think they are so different, and the difference is of course in type, but also in way of show, in way of trimming. This is also a big difference to see them. Maybe a Shih Tzu that is showing in European country goes to the States and you can't recognize him.
Yes.
A month later, because it's completely different arrange or whatever.
Yes, style of grooming.
But of course, the type is different in many breeds. But I think it's a matter of education and making the people realize they have to respect the better they can the standard of the country of origin and the type, the original type.
Okay. Let's go on with difficult questions. Yesterday I had this interview with two breeders from the Netherlands. I don't know if at the end you have managed to see it completely or not, because as you know probably, in the Netherlands they have now bring this new government and Dutch Kennel Club rule that for 12 Brahmi breeds they can continue to breed them only if there is this correct let's say ratio between the length of the nose and the length of the skull, which obviously if the breeders in the Netherlands would manage to get these long noses on these breeds like Shih Tzus or English Bulldogs, Affenpinchers, Griffons and so on, these dogs would not be anymore looking like the FCI standard is asking for them. My question is, do you think that this problem can be solved? What is your opinion about it? And are you afraid that other European countries are going to follow this example, and at the end in 20 or 30 years we are going to have Griffons and Affenpinchers, English bulldogs with the long nose?
I really hope that not. That it's a very difficult situation. I don't know precisely what is the political situation in Netherlands and what is the situation of the Kennel Club with the government in this case, because I think we can't blame anybody without knowing really what is happening. What I don't understand is why this is going on. These are not new breeds, are very old breeds. It has been proved for centuries in some cases or decades in others that this breed can live perfectly, sound, healthy, with the characteristic that they have since they were created. Because if you see pictures of pugs or Shih Tzus or French Bulldogs, maybe they change a lot in structure, in body, but the head had the same radius, so it was never a problem. It is a problem, the unhealthy dogs in this breed, as is in other breeds. It has been proved in studies that they have made recently in universities that this BOAS syndrome, the syndrome, has been present in other breeds. So you can't go for this kind of proportions or measures to ban a breed. Because today we are talking about these proportions, and tomorrow maybe they go because of some other thing. And what you're doing is make it smaller and smaller until you destroy them. And we don't want a generic dog that they look all the same, that they breathe all the same, they move all the same. I think each breed has its purpose, and it's not a matter of creating in your head something that you imagine. It was done and it was living because it was useful and it has a purpose. So I don't think it's good that you go killing all the things, because otherwise I think it will be never ending. They will always find something else. We had already go for this and this and this. We had adapt the standards in many breeds, trying to avoid all exaggerations. But if we continue trying to be nice to these people that I think really they don't have the knowledge to be killing the breeds in this way, it will be forever. It will never end. Now is this, and tomorrow will be another thing. And what you asked me, yes, I think that maybe this is a big risk that other countries follow them, because these parties that are against purebred dogs and now purebred dogs and then dogs, I think they will continue working and working and working. I think it's a big responsibility for us as dog people to make them understand that there is no risk if you do it with responsibility. And it's a big responsibility of the judges to try to give prizes to healthy dogs. And not talking about all these that what they will think about you. Really think about it and really think it's finishing a lot of things, and maybe you're not so touched because it's not your breed, but it will get to your breed and it will follow with many things. Today is this radio that it should be between 0.3 and 0.5, and tomorrow it will be the legs, and day after it will be the ears. It will never finish.
Yes. What we were talking yesterday, that Edwin and Mika were saying, and they said this is actually what upsets them the most. They say the worst thing of all is that it doesn't exist scientific proof that the length of the nose influence the good breeding or the missing of these boas diseases and so on and so on. So it means they are now asking them to breed the dogs with the long nose, and generally speaking, this is not going to change anything.
It's not going to change anything, and the people who breed these breeds is because they like them as they are. They don't want to breed what the others tell them to do. It's like when they are creating some other breed to help this existing breed to be better. We don't need that. We have good specimens of each of these breeds that had followed and bred for years and years and years, and you can see good examples of healthy dogs in all these breeds in many places. Of course, you have from the others, but this is not a matter of the breed. It's a matter of breeding.
Yes, but also another thing that we were talking yesterday, and I think that this is something which we need to. I think this is actually one thing that the FCI should push in every country and try to fight this battle, because I think this is the battle which is going to the only battle that can change the whole story in another way. We were talking yesterday. When you go, for example, to the veterinarian, and I tell me if it's not the same for example, in Uruguay and South America, and you buy, let's say, a French bulldog from a puppy miller, which has come from another country, from some breeder who has 1 million dogs and so on and so on. You come to the veterinarian and you say, this is a French bulldog. And the veterinarian writes, this is a French bulldog, but you don't have a pedigree for this French bulldog. And then you get this incredible number, let's say, of French bulldogs or English bulldogs who are sick. But the truth is that out of these 100 Frenchies or English bulldogs, let's say 20 have the pedigree, which is proving that they are really dogs, and these dogs were bred by responsible breeders. Other 80 are bred by puppy millers, and they are actually not French bulldogs or English bulldogs because they don't have a pedigree to prove that they are this breed. Do you think that this is a big problem?
It is a big problem. It's very unfair because the people who have breed for years and years and years, maybe all their life, good dogs in this breed are being punished because of this other. And this is very unfair.
Yes. Yeah, this is something that we should think about. Let's stay a little bit on a similar subject now, because I don't know so much about the situation in South America. You know that, and you and Adrian, you are traveling a lot to Europe and you are judging a lot in Europe. You know that in most of the European countries you cannot anymore crop and dock dogs. You have thousands of restrictions on the use of different cosmetic products. You cannot use chain collars on the shows. You cannot have tables. You cannot have table arms. You cannot use dryers. You cannot use irons. Actually, one thing after another, you cannot use anything anymore on the dog shows. My question is, did this come to the South America? Did they try already to forbid some of these things? And is the world of purebred dogs in South America already also under attack of these animal rights activists, or you are still a little bit out of that?
We are not maybe so punished as you in Europe. In many countries of Europe, you can't even, if I have a dog Argentino and I'm moving to Holland and it's cropped, I'm not allowed to take it, even as a pet, because it's cropped. Here it's not as strict, but it's coming. I think these things goes everywhere. And all these things about cosmetics and, well, cropping and docking will be banned for all FCI countries in 4 years. So this is coming everywhere. And but these things are bothering, of course, a lot, because a lot of things are with no sense. For example, things that we know they are not harm or no causing any pain to the dog. But things that are not important, and you can adapt. You know this is reality, so you manage to make it in other ways. But changing the breeds, this is a big thing. This is completely different, and it's going to in a way that is very risky and very sad.
Yeah. Let's stay a little bit on the subject of cropping and docking, and I'm not going to say my opinion about it because it's not relevant in this matter. But I want to ask you one thing. In my head, in my idea, I think that a lot of, and I said it also yesterday, a lot of bad things for the purebred dogs started with this cropping and docking ban, and I will tell you why. Once, when these political parties or whatever they are started to push against the dog world, saying you need to stop cropping and docking and so on, they said breeders and exhibitors of purebred dogs, they do harm to their dogs. They crop them and they dog them, and that is very painful, only and exclusively for the aesthetic reasons, so that they can be more pretty for the dog shows. In my head, in the moment when the kennel clubs have said, okay, yes, you are right, we have been maltreating our own dogs for hundreds of years only because of aesthetical reasons, ban us, tell us that we cannot do it anymore. I think that was the first moment, actually, when the people from this sport have admitted that they have done, let's say, something wrong to their own dogs for the aesthetic reasons. And I think all this big number of problems started after that, because they said, look, they have admitted that they have been cruel to their own dogs. Let's now find everything else where we can punish them because they have admitted. It's how I see it in my head. Maybe it's not true. Maybe it's true. It's how I see it. My question, yes, tell me.
No, I think you are right, but I think you are not right in blaming the kennel clubs. Many kennel clubs, of course, will like to follow and continue with these things, but it's a government thing. For example, Germany, of course, they are not happy in the VDH because of the forbidding cropping and docking, because many of their had lost a lot of popularity in the world, but they don't have a choice. They have to do it.
But Jorge, did we have to fight it stronger against it?
Oh, maybe not. I don't know, because this is depending on the country. This thing with the German breeds is more recent. For example, big countries are maybe 40, 50 years already that you can't crop, for example.
Yes.
And I don't know in that moment what happened, if they fight it or not. But it's always a matter of governments. It's not a matter of the kennel club. Maybe the fault of the kennel club has been not to fight as much as they should to avoid these. But as I tell you, for example,
because sorry to interrupt you, because when this story of cropping and docking came to the USA, the American Kennel Club issued this press release, and I don't know if you have seen it yourself, and they have said, no, it's not true that we are cropping and docking the dogs for the aesthetic reasons. We are cropping the ears of the dogs because they need to fit their purpose. For example, the boxers or Dobermans, they are used in the army, they are used as the police dogs, and it's proven that when they have cropped ears, they can hear better. We are docking the tails because dogs, when they are used for their purpose, when they have long tails, they get injured in the actions and so on. And they have never admitted or said that they have been cropping and docking the dogs for aesthetic reason, but they have been doing it because these dogs were bred for a kind of purpose. Was that maybe a good answer to the situation?
I think it was a good answer to the situation. And in many countries of Europe, you have the exception for hunting dogs, for example, to be docked.
Exactly.
But I think as you say, was a first step, but maybe at the moment was not easy for many countries to fight against that. Maybe they did it wrong, I don't know. But
Yes, yes.
it was a first step, as you said, without doubt.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to ask you only one more question about this subject, because I think this is something that probably your committee at some point in the near future will have to deal with. A lot of breeds already now, especially, let's say, I will not say, but I think I'm 99% sure all German breeds in their standards have natural tail, natural ears. But of course, in South America, in Asia, in Russia, you will still find hundreds and hundreds of Dobermans and boxers and schnauzers, which are cropped and docked, because in these countries this is allowed. And now my question is are these dogs actually against the FCI standard, and how we are going to solve this problem? Because you know that for example, in South America, Dobermans are one of the strongest and most numerous breeds. In the moment when in South America you will not be able to have cropped and docked Dobermans, this breed, the same like in Europe, is going to almost disappear. I mean, how we are going to solve this problem?
You're supposed to follow the standard, of course, but the standards of the Sherman breeds couldn't, by government, put anything about docked or cropped dogs. It was prohibited for them, so they had to follow this rule. And it was going to be stopped some years ago, or not years, but some time ago. But FCI, seeing what a big problem was, because it was ending suddenly with a lot of breed, had allowed to continue judge and dock and crop the dogs until 24 in the countries where it's not prohibited by law. So it was like a term of 5 years that was given to adapt to this reality.
Yes, and I mean, tell me, because I don't know what is going to happen, but maybe you know. I mean, what is going to happen after 2024?
It will be finished. You can't judge, you can't show, you can't do nothing with a dog that is cropped or docked. It's done.
Yeah, and I mean, how
date that was given.
Yeah, and I mean, how is this going to influence, for example, Dobermans in South America?
I think it will be something gradual, and people who really likes the breed, not only for the tail or the ears, we continue breeding them, and they will have to breed as they look for good angulation, good top lines, good temperament, good porches, whatever. They will have to breed for good tails and good ears, as in the countries they do where it's already forbidden. Yes. If I like, I think you adapt very quickly to it.
Yes. No, I think maybe for judges will be easier to. I mean, I could never think that I will be okay with schnauzers, miniature schnauzers, which are not cropped and docked. But as you say, your eye just gets used to it, and after some time you get used to it. But I still, in my heart, when I see a beautiful dog which is cropped and docked, I still like say, okay, this is wow. And I mean, I think this is going to be something very difficult for the FCI, and I don't know how we are going to solve this problem. But okay, let's hope that
a lot of problems that, for example, with good sense in the judges. For example, if I know I'm judging a breed who had changed completely in the standard, recently, I won't punish for that strictly. For example, when they changed the standard of the mini pin with the hackney, will you go and
Yes.
kill a whole breed because they are doing hackney? No, you have to be forgiven with these things.
Yes.
And you should be, it will be the same with the ears and tails of these breeds.
Yeah.
Maybe we
So
have to wait for next generation to be adapted.
yes, yes. Okay, I think at this point we have covered more or less all the important things that I wanted to talk with you about. We have covered a little bit your life in dogs and some actual subjects. If some people who are watching with us have at this point some questions for you, I will be happy to read them for you. And all this they can write until you answer my last two questions, because we are now already 1 hour and 15 minutes going on. And my two last questions are like this. My first question for you, Jorge, is what do you think that needs to be done urgently to protect the sport?
One of the things I can't give the solution. I think it's something we should all do is try to stop saying yes and try to not follow everything they are asking from us that goes against the breeds that we have had for so many years. I think this is one of the most important things that we should do now.
Yes.
Very risky, not only for this breed, that is, even it was for one breed, it's horrible, even for many breeds worse, but it will be for all of the breeds.
Yes.
And finally, for dogs, I think. They are
Yes.
going and going and going. So try to stop this.
Yeah. This
Altogether.
is
Not
what.
about FCI, AKC,
No, no,
UK,
no, 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 no. Doesn't matter. Yes.
all together. Try to do something that really stop this.
Yes, yes. This is what very similar with what I have in my mind. That it is the moment, and not to blame any kennel club, any breed club, anybody, but just to say all the people who love purebred dogs need to unite and need to fight. Doesn't matter which breed they have, doesn't matter which club they are in. We all need to fight and unite if we are going trying to go out of this. And then coming to this question, what not what but how do you see the future of the sport?
First, before this, I want to tell you, fight in a smart way, intelligent.
Absolutely,
We
absolutely.
have many ways to prove that they are not right. And it's not very maybe good to confront, but to show them. I think many people that is involved in this against us and against the sport and against the breed, they don't really know what they are talking about. So I think one of the big tasks that we have is open the eyes of these people, and that they realize that they are not going in a way that is fair to us. So it will be difficult, but I think there are ways.
Yes, because what you say, Jorge, it is. I was not meaning a fight. What you say, it's very very smart. I mean, we need to fight smartly. But what we need to fight, and I think that what is the biggest problem, we need to change the opinion of the general public, of normal people who have nothing to do with the dogs or anything, because all these things are pushed because the PETA and these groups, they manage to turn the general public who has nothing to do with this against us. I think this is a big problem.
This is a big problem, and knowledge of general people, as you say, it's a big problem. It's a big problem first that general public don't understand the breeds. they don't understand why we have 350 breeds. They don't understand there is a meaning, there is a sense of each breed, that no breed was made because of fashion or whatever. So this is very important that the people understand. They think a dog is a dog. It's not the same a dog that is herding or watching or hunting. There are a lot of difference, and this is why we have so many breeds. This is something that normal people maybe don't understand, and it's our duty to make them understand this. Another way is that they understand that they are going in a wrong way, because it has been proved that many things that they are giving for sure in health and all that is not in the breed. It's in some specimens, not in all.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so we have
future of our sport. It will depend on us. I don't have the crystal ball to say what will happen. If we don't do something, it won't be good, I think.
Yes, yes. This is something that we need all to understand.
Restricted and restricted each time more, and from many different places. So if we are not quick and smart enough to stop this, it won't be easy.
Yes, yes. Okay. Here there are a few comments that Valentina has taken out from me, because I didn't manage to follow them all the time. We had, for example, regards from our friend from Italy, Claudio De Giuliani. We had Petru Muntean, who was watching the conversation. People who were saying like Nicola Spencer, thank you, Ante, and all concerned for this global insight this week. One of the positive outcomes from this worldwide crisis. Then you had the nice comment for you and Adrian from a person called Matias Dominguez, says, in my opinion, two of the best judges we have in South America, and how they represent all of us worldwide, the knowledge and respect they transmit to all exhibitors. So there have been a lot of very nice comments. And I thank to everybody who was watching this with us. We have two last questions here, and a comment from Gerardo Paolucci, who is saying more or less what we said. We need to educate the people and inform them about breeds and their purposes. So Edwin, who was my guest yesterday, is asking you, what can we do to improve the public opinion about the breeds?
I think we should go out of our circle, and each one of us do the task of informing people. Maybe it's a work of the kennels to teach young people in schools, and I think this is one of the ways that we can do it. Another way, usually in our circle of people, we have people that are influenced maybe in politics or in some jobs that can help us in this. Well, use it. Not only get close to the directory, but to get everybody involved in it.
Yes. There was just one more question from the viewer called Corey van der Warf. She was asking you, what do you think about the 12 breeds in the Netherlands that now, I suppose, if they continue to breed them to the breed standard, they cannot get pedigrees anymore for these breeds. I mean, do you see that there is a way out for the breeders of these 12 Brahi breeds in Netherlands to continue, or they just need to stop? Do you see some way out of it?
I don't know the reality in Netherlands. It's very difficult to say from here.
I mean, the reality is very easy. If you have an Affen pitcher or a Griffon who looks like they should look by the FCI breed standard, you cannot get any more pedigree for the puppies out of these two parents.
I know what they are asking for. I say I don't know if they can do something to avoid
Yes.
it. I don't know how strong they are and what is the influence that they have in the kennel club. I don't know if the kennel club has any way to escape to this or not, but for sure, if I was breeding these kind of breeds that are being forbidden there, I will look a way to do it somewhere else, or but
Yeah.
not
Not
going
stopping.
on their head and doing something that I'm not interested in changing any breed.
Yes. Okay. Last comment, which I'm going to read, is from somebody that I suppose it's connected to you. It's a lady called Graciana Nallem. So I would say there are some connections with you.
Probably.
Well, yes. The first word says what is the connection. She says, "My dad has been the biggest teacher I've had concerning breeds dogs, and he's certainly a passionate person of all dogs, not only breed dogs. He also has many dogs in shelter, and he's a real true dog lover."
Okay.
So you see, you have been a good father.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Graciana, for this comment. Anyhow, Jorge, thanks a lot. I really appreciate that you took your time to be today with me and answering some of these questions, which I know were not easy to answer. I think that it is so important that people can listen to the opinion of sensible people in the dog world, like Adrian and you, who can explain the things in an easy way and who are not radical in any way, but are really trying sensibly to approach the problems. I really appreciate it. We had a lot of viewers, we had a lot of comments, and I'm really happy that you have been with us today. And I really appreciate that you took your time to be in this interview.
Okay. Thank you, Ante, for the opportunity to be with you, at least in this way.
Yes.
And thank you very much for the job you're doing. I think it's the best way of taking advantage of the free time we have in this situation or in the whole world, and uh, doing what we were talking about, educating
Yeah.
people, opening minds. They don't have to think as we do. They don't have to follow our thoughts, but it's always to have different points of view what makes the difference. So thank you very much for
You
your
are
job.
very welcome. Let me use the opportunity at the end of this interview to thank to few people. First of all, to Valentina, who is with me already 3 days in a row, helping me with all the things. She has done an amazing job. To Javier and to Andrew, who are like in a way my biggest supporters, but also the biggest critics, because when I write some questions, then they scream to me and they say, "This is stupid. You should not ask this." So I really appreciate it. Beltran, we have survived live. We have survived this without any technical problems. We had 3 great ones. I'm so grateful to you for everything that you are doing, and I'm sorry that you have missed the birthday party because of us, but it's highly appreciated from everyone. Joanna, nothing of this would be possible without you. Thank you for letting me use the platform of the Best in Show magazine, and thank you for all this amazing advertising that you are doing. I think that people really appreciate it. Especially thank you to all the people who are watching. We are coming back next week again with some interesting guests. I will not tell you still who are they going to be, but for sure we are going to meet next week again. Enjoy your weekend, Jorge. Once again, thank you so much for joining me, and please give a big hug to the Croatian Dachshunds living in Uruguay, and a big hug to Adrian.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Ante, and all the people that is working with you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Of course.
Yes. Thank you. Bye.